So now we're going to move to the introduction of our lecturer today. We're lucky to have Reva Stewart. I just love her. I haven't been around her long enough, but I've been very happy with the times we've spent together. Reva has been a traveler on the metaphysical path for many years. She became an ordained minister of the Church of Wisdom in 1997. Reva has a passion for healing and has studied numerous spiritual practices and healing modalities, which include hypnosis, healing touch, RoHun, and others. Expansion in consciousness, wisdom, and knowledge continue as a lifelong quest. Reva has attended and supported the chapel since the early 1990s and became a member in 2009. She served in various positions on the board, including board president, and currently facilitates our healing circles and spiritual and psychic development class. She has been a participant and leader in various other classes at the chapel and other local churches and organizations. Reva retired as a successful businesswoman who applied the spiritual and metaphysical principles she learned to help guide her to success. Please join me in welcoming Reva Stewart.
Thank you. Good morning. Look at all of these bright, beautiful faces in here this morning. You have to adjust me.
Yeah. Just a bit. Now you're perfect.
Okay. I will start with scripture this morning. Ecclesiastes 1, verses 4 through 7. Generations come and go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. And my talk this morning is about full circle. And it's interesting, if we sit and think about it, the nature of this earth journey is about circles in our lives. It's a circular journey, from the breath that we take in and we breathe out. And we think about it little until we sit quietly in meditation and focus on that breath. The rhythm of the heartbeat. It beats continuously on and on. There are so many examples in nature. For instance, the growth of a tree. You plant it, it grows, it gets leaves, it sheds leaves, it goes into dormancy, and in the spring, it comes back again. That circular nature of life itself. And even those who believe in reincarnation, death to the physical, a return to spirit, And if you believe in reincarnation, a return to this plane as well. The moon, the sun, the planets, they orbit, always returning to its course. And we are even affected by the placement and the movement of the moon and planets and the stars as well. You think about numerology and the 9 cycles there. And each year we go through the cycles 1 through 9, and I will not give the meaning at this point. But I will say that the interesting thing about it is this year is a 1 year. And we are in the very beginnings of a new cycle. And this new cycle it's the beginning of a transformation from an old paradigm to a new paradigm. And some of us may feel a little edgy at times, not knowing what to expect. And what I will say is that for those who are ready, expect an elevation in your vibration, and how that elevation in your vibration affects the world around you as well. But some things remain the same. We'll still be eating, we'll still seek shelter, and in many ways things will feel just as they did before. But there is an inner awareness that takes us into a greater understanding of life, of what it is to be connected to our own inner God power, goddess power, and how it is that we can draw on that and not so much attached to the ego self. And as we go through these years and cycles of life, mentioning ego, if we pay attention and if we are diligent in our studies, in our inner work, and it does require inner work, you will feel a letting go and a diminishing of the effect of the ego on your life. We become less reactionary and we begin to respond more appropriately in our life. And we talk about circles. When a few years back, Spirit gave me this quote. When you have come full circle, life begins anew. Life begins anew when you have come full circle. And I even saw the circular nature of that message from Spirit. And I even think about my journey here at the chapel. As Sharon said, I started in the early 90s. I was pretty broken at that time. And this was like an oasis for me at that time. And I left at the end of the 90s because of my job. I moved to Baltimore and I kind of I pulled away from the chapel and I just wasn't connected anymore. And early 2000s, my job brought me back to Virginia, to Richmond. And I kind of set out for a while, but something kept pulling me back. I made that circle back to the chapel in the early 2000s. And I've even contemplated maybe just leaving altogether, the distance, and, maybe there was a community closer by. But something kept drawing me back to circle back here. And what I realize in this now moment is that in my circling back and in my time spent doing various things here at the chapel, I've grown from a broken person when I first started here to one who feels full, at peace. And that circling back, even though, as I said, I contemplated leaving at times, this is home. I've circled back to home here. And that brokenness that I started with has given me an opportunity to serve in ways that I never thought possible or never expected that I would. So the circle continues. Who knows where it'll take me? Here. In youth, I talked a little bit about ego, but in our youth we are captured by the things that we're taught by others, and that becomes our reality and our understanding in the nature of life itself. We have a desire to be met by something outside of ourselves, something that we think that we need, and yet we're never feel fulfilled. There's always an emptiness or a search to find something that really feels like you belong. So as we journey on this circle of life, we have many circles, many experiences. But it is once we come into that place of stillness and quietness and listening to that still inner voice within us and realizing that there is nothing outside of us that can fill us up like that connection with the inner God source, that inner space within us that brings us to a greater understanding of who we are, why we are here, and also one of the great benefits of that is the gifts that we have to share. It's all there. It's within us. And it's been there all along. We had to go through those stages of foolishness and messing up things and forgiveness, and then into a cycle of openness and peace and inner peace. And learning to live in a way that we do no harm, that we bring no harm to anybody or anything. We become more heart-centered and less of a need to be filled up with the things and the noise and the chaos of the outer world. And then there's that spiritual awakening. Spiritual experiences that we may have had or are having or moving into. Sometimes it can feel like a spiritual emergency, and sometimes it can feel like an ease, like a soft landing into something greater than the human self. The spiritual experiences are not always about emergencies. But whether the experience is gentle or not, we experience that gentle awakening, and we're forever profoundly changed. You may find that the things that you were taught no longer hold meaning for you. Once we have tapped into that inner knowing and that inner understanding, that divine self, the holy self, we will know peace like we've never experienced before. We're able to let go, and we are able to surrender to the calling of our own souls. I talked a little bit about reincarnation and the circle of life. And I will say to each of us here, do not say no to change. Change is inevitable. It's a part of the cycle and the circle of life. It is evidence that we have been here, that we are here, that we are growing and we are getting a greater understanding of the nature of life and the circles that we encounter as well. The old will die away, and a new beginning will take you to where you have been before, or a new adventure and growth and expansion. And just know that growth and expansion is continuous. It doesn't stop. And the nature of the circle of life is continuous flow, continuous change, and continuous opportunities to expand in consciousness. Adiya Shanti. And so when we come full circle, like breathing in and breathing out, no separation between our absolute nature and our human nature. It's all a part of God. It is all a part of us having the opportunity to experience what the circles of life are for us. And the interesting thing is, there comes a time, usually after we get a little bit older and a little less reactionary, that we tend to listen to that calling that is within us. We honor that part of us, that divine nature of our being. It's always been calling to us, just waiting for us to open the door and walk through. And I always have a poem. So I did bring one today. And some of you who are in the class have heard it before, but I think it's worth hearing again. Instructions before visiting Earth. And the author, I think his name is James McCrae. In the event that you wake up and find your soul separated from Source and manifest into material form, don't panic. Your condition is only temporary. You have been selected for the opportunity of human incarnation. This 3D simulation is designed to break up the monotony of eternity, but giving you a full immersive experience as distinct as ego identity. Your body will serve as your physical avatar as you navigate a dense and traumatic reality. There will be many distractions, causing you to forget your true nature and origin. You will experience a range of emotions, from joy to loneliness to despair. But remember, no matter what trials and traumas you encounter, your soul remains perfectly safe. At times you will feel lost and afraid. This is totally normal. If you ever need guidance, simply slow down your busy mind and bring your awareness to the quiet place inside yourself. On this planet, nothing is permanent. People and things will come and go. You will fall in love and form sentimental attachments, only to lose everything you hold dear. So cling to nothing too tightly, even yourself. And when it's time to let go with grace. For nothing is owned, only borrowed. As you walk among the people on the planet, try to be a good guest. Tread lightly. Remember, that you are only visiting. Don't make a mess. Listen more than you speak. Give more than you take. Don't keep your soft heart locked inside a glass cage, protected from wear and fear. You'll never make it out alive, and time passes quickly. So come back with some battle scars and good stories to tell. Blessings.